Assalamu alaikum, dear friends and fellows. How are you? I welcome you here on my training channel. My name is Abdul Khalik. We come across certain situations where one person is dominating the conversation, and we feel like it's not good. We don't feel good at all. But maybe we are unable to understand how to tackle and manage this person who is, having a one sided conversation, who is trying to dominate the conversation. Trying to dominate the conversation. These people are not liked by others at all, but at least many of the people don't know about how to tackle them, how to manage them. So dear friends and fellows, I think that we need to understand that how to somehow manage these people, those who are trying to dominate the conversation. There are some nine ways, nine things which we need to know, which we need to listen, so that we are better able to apply all of these nine things upon those people in a situation like this one, dear friends and fellows. Now let's look upon what are those nine things. First of all, it is practice active listening. We need to practice the active listening. What is this active listening, by the way? Mean, instead of being passive, let's be active. It's better to somehow grasp important points out of the conversation, which can be used maybe in our own advantage. So let's move forward. What are the other eight things which we need to understand as for tackling the these people who are trying to dominate the conversation? Now, the second thing is setting clear boundaries. What is this, by the way? Setting Prior to that, I think we need to understand that many of us, they are the people pleasers. They are the people pleasers. We are trying to please the people. We don't want to annoy anyone else at all. So that is the case with us. Maybe I think that we need to overcome this attitude, because we don't have to be a people pleaser at all. Rather, we have to learn to say no. We have to learn to say no. We have to learn to disagree with the opinion of other people at as and when it is needed. Not always, obviously, but as and when it is needed. So that how it will be, how it will be applicable here. Every time there is a kind of one-sided conversation, we need to interject certain sentences. We need to interject a certain thing. What are those certain things we are going to tell? That is, instead of being a people pleaser, we have to take a decision. We have to adopt an attitude that, okay, I am going to learn to say no at certain points. And also, dear friends and fellows, that then the other thing is, that is interjecting the conversation with certain sentences from we ourselves, which are more suitable according to the situation. Now, the third is our body. Use body language to your advantage. What is this body language? If at all you are getting bored, cross your arms, cross your legs, start looking here and there, and that is how we can use our body language. So that is a body language that which shows that at least I'm not much interested in what you are talking about. So the now that was the fourth third, and the fourth is use the sandwich technique. What is this sandwich technique? If at all you want to say something which is potentially uncomfortable point, then I think it should be made a sandwich between the two pleasant points. Take the two pleasant points and then insert between the two of these one which is potentially uncomfortable point, which is an uncomfortable point for the person you are going to communicate. So that is called use the sandwich technique. Now, the fifth is ask more questions. Instead of letting them talk and instead of allowing them to keep talking, it is better to ask questions, which are mean whatever you listen, it is better to ask certain questions from them. So, dear friends and fellows, now the sixth is express your feelings. It is important to express your feelings. How can we do that? It isn't blaming. It isn't blaming. Uh, um, it isn't blaming Make them simply make them aware of their impact on you. It isn't blaming. Make them aware of their impact on you. Don't be confrontational at all. Simply say that I feel like I'm not being heard when the conversation is one sided. So that is how that is express your feeling. It isn't blaming. Simply make them aware of their impact on you. Don't be confrontational. Simply say that I feel like I am not being heard when the conversation is one sided. So, now the seventh point is practice patience. Yes, of course, we need to practice the patience, and we need to develop the patience, because patience is a virtue. Patience is a great virtue, actually. So, for all that reason, we cannot afford to abandon the patience. Now, the eighth is seek a common ground. Seeking common ground. If at all there are certain things which upon which we disagree, it is also important to find certain things which can be called as a common ground between the two of us, and we need to express it, actually, so that the other person shouldn't think that we are biased against them, that we don't like them. It's not actually the case. It's not actually the case. We do like them. We are not biased against them at all. So that is for the purpose of, for this reason, I think that we need to find a common ground between the two of us. And then, now the ninth and the final is, remember it's not personal. Remember it's not personal at all. It is their habit which they have developed unknowingly. It is their habit trying to dominate the conversation wherever it is possible. It is their habit to have a one-sided conversation and to keep talking. It's not personally for you. It is their habit which they have developed unknowingly. So these are the nine things. I think while if at all we are we are interacting with a person who is trying to dominate the conversation, this is how we can somehow we can rattle them. This is somehow we can manage them. This is somehow we can tackle them. So I think that in a situation, in the many of the situations, we do come across one or another person who is trying to dominate the conversation. And now in a situation like this one, if at all we do know these 9 points, it will be of great help to us, and we will better be able to don't let anybody dominate the conversation. If at all we have heard, we have noted, we have listened and read these 9 points, and we are taking advantage. We are utilizing it for our own benefit. Thank you very much.